Hey everyone, it's Autumn. Today we're gonna do a beauty pie haul. So I feel like I'll probably be doing one of these maybe once a month as they come out with things. I have put myself on a little bit of a no buy, but beauty pie doesn't really count. And it doesn't count because there are some things that I still restock and replenish through there, and I've already paid for the membership and the prices are pretty reasonable. Also, I can buy these things and give them as gifts as well. But these things I got for review and also to tell you guys about. And I already have my makeup done. I didn't really think this through. So I think after I go to the gym today and I come home and I clean up, I think I will do my makeup and include it in this video using all Beauty Pie products. So I think I mentioned it in my previous video, they have recently switched up the way they do memberships. I think the old membership method might still be there, but it makes zero sense to do it that way. So the way now is I think you pay like $49 for the entire year, and then you get, I think, $3,500 allowance, and you get to spend it at any point during the year. You don't have to spend it like little bit by little bit per month or like save up. And that's the way a lot of people do when they have the smaller memberships. I never really had that issue because I was on the $30 a month. So this 100% makes sense why I switched over to the $49, because I was spending $30 a month for a $300 month allowance. I will say though, I was a little bit annoyed. So I would probably say 5 or 6 months ago, and if I can find the email, I'll include it in here, or at least the date where I sent the email. But I emailed them because I heard that the membership was changing this way. And I saw it on something official, and then they took it down and I couldn't find it anymore. But so I think it was kind of a mistake that it was put up a little bit early. But I emailed them and I was like, hey, I'm on $30 a month and you guys now have an annual that's essentially unlimited for $49 a month. I just want to switch to that. And they did not even acknowledge the fact that that was coming up or anything like that. They just said, if you would like to change your membership, here's how to do it. And they didn't even give me the option. And then like a couple months later, the very option that I was talking about came out, and they made me feel like I was crazy. It was almost like the customer service rep gaslit me. Like, did not even acknowledge that that was coming out. So I know I saw it somewhere because obviously my numbers were exact as to what it became. But anyway, let's just go ahead and get into the products and I'll show you everything I picked up. I think that I'm looking into the monitor. I'm playing around with like the exposure and things like that and my lighting in here because I had to change all the settings on my camera. And I know it wasn't my camera because my videos were HD before. This is like a long tangent here, not super long, but I contacted YouTube because I noticed like my past 7 videos have not been coming up as HD, and they've been really poor quality, which is really annoying. But I am filming them in HD, I'm editing them in HD, and I'm uploading them in HD. However, it never processes to that point, and then I have a really crap quality. When I talked to the customer service rep through YouTube, they essentially made me feel like it was me. They're like, well, did you refresh your browser? Did you do that? And I contacted them twice. That's why there hasn't really been many videos over the last 3 weeks, is because they told me not to upload until this was resolved. And so it still hasn't been resolved, but I figured I'm still gonna upload. This is ridiculous. Hopefully they fix it. So that's pretty much what's going on here. Anyway, let's get into the stuff. By the way, I have my whole box here. I did take a peek before doing this video to make sure that everything I ordered was in there, because I have had issues in the past where, okay, like issues, it happened once. I have had a problem in the past where I waited to take everything out until I filmed the video, and then I was like missing a product. And I did contact them and they remedied it. There was no issue, they sent it to me. So I did want to let you know about that, but that's why all this stuff has already been opened. So everything I have here is essentially new to their website, and that's usually how I shop through Beauty Pie, is I just click on their new in, or I think it's like new in, or I forget what else it's called, but it's pretty much the stuff like, oh, back in stock / new in. So all of that stuff that comes back in. And the reason I shop that way is because I mostly have everything that they have to offer. So when a new product comes up, I want to try it out. It's a little bit annoying. Like I'm such a Debbie Downing here, but I do follow their Instagram page, and they will be posting products, they're like, you know, coming up, but they never give you a release date, which I find to be a little bit obnoxious because I want to buy the stuff. I'm interested in it, and then I have to like wait months after they sneak peek it to actually get the stuff, but they never tell you when it's coming out so you have like any sort of idea, especially to like line it up with your order. So again, I don't like to make several orders throughout the month because I don't want to have to pay all the extra shipping, because I think it's like $9 shipping. So I don't like doing that. So typically I just buy everything all at once, and then I keep adding stuff to cart until my next order. But let's start out with the beauty products that I picked up. The first thing you will have seen in my last video, and in that video I will have it linked up here for you, and I'll also try to remember to put it in the description box. But essentially in that video I matched my lipstick shade to my nipples. And so I featured this lipstick in there because I was searching everywhere through my collection, seeing if I had anything to match one of the shades of my nipples. Watch the video, it'll explain it a little bit better. But anyway, this ended up being one of the shades of my nipples, which is great. This is really good Raisin, and it's a matte shade. And I'll put some on too, since I don't have lipstick on right now. I found it to be a little dark for my taste. But I think that like blotted out like this, it's actually quite nice. Here we go. And it looks pretty natural. Again, I keep looking over in my monitor. I hope I changed all my settings, so I have no idea if colors are going to be true. We're going to just work with me. So anyway, I got this. I actually like it. It's their matte formula. I think it's a nice shade. I ought to take a photo. I don't have my phone with me. Oh yeah, I do. I'm gonna take a photo and put it up on the screen just in case the coloring is a bit off to where you can see it. So here we go. Trying to get the So the next item I picked up is their new concealer. I have tried out their other forms of concealer that they've had in the past, in which I still have them, I believe. They have this pot concealer, or not really a pot, it's a pan. But they have this concealer, and it's also in the shade 150, so I can compare. And I must have decluttered their other concealer that was in the squeezy tube. They got rid of that a long time ago because I think their colors were off. The formula was really good, just the coloring of all of the shades was really dark. Again, I got the shade 150 Shell. It's really hard to match yourself on their website as far as the coloring. But from what I could tell, this was my best option. And just so we can compare to their other concealers in the line, because I've noticed that it'll still be labeled as the same shade, like 150. And same with the foundations and things like that, and they don't match up once you get them. And here is the 150 in their Unbeatable concealer. And let's see how well they match up. Yeah, I think they're getting better. Obviously the shades still aren't the same. This is the new formula, and then this is the one that was in the pan. And also for reference, I decluttered all of their foundations except for the one that was closest to me, which is shade 75 Vanilla. And this actually, I think their 150 would be too dark, because here's 75 Vanilla, which is pretty close to the 150. So I don't know, I can't say for certain, but I have had the 150 before, and it was darker. And I did pick up their new eyeliner. This is the Deluxe Precision Liquid Eyeliner. I picked this up. I'm not really a liquid liner person, but they said that it's matte and it's precision. This is a pretty big tip. And the problem I normally have with these felt tip liners is after a while that felt tip kind of gets beat up. This is supposed to dry down matte, but it's pretty liquidy when it initially goes on. We'll wait a second, let it dry down. So, I mean, it's still going. I mean, it takes a while to dry down. All right, so then I picked this up. They've repackaged it. They say it's the same thing as they had before, but this is the All-in-Wonder Illuminating Primer. And they have another illuminating primer, which I have here in my primer bin, which is this one, and this is their Wonder Filter Brightening Primer. And this is like a pink pearlescent sort of primer. So this is the pink pearlescent primer. This one is just repackaged. They say it's the same. And I also have that one, if I can find it. And here's the old packaging. Let's compare the old packaging to the new packaging. So I feel like the new packaging just kind of like tells you what it is as far as in the coloring, because this one is kind of shiny, close to the primer. So I think they were just going for something that looked a little less cheap. But I'm gonna compare on my right hand to see if they are in fact the exact same product. Okay, so they're pretty close. I would say, so here they both are. They're pretty close. I would say one's slightly darker and also thinner. Like the consistency is thinner than, I don't know. It could also be thinner just because mine's older and it's like starting to dry up. So I would say that's pretty fair to say it's the same thing, I guess. And then there it is on, it really does just kind of give like a nice veil. Sometimes I wear it instead of foundation because the color is so close to my natural skin tone. FYI, this still has not dried down like matte. It's supposed to be matte, but it's shiny. I think, yeah, they say matte, it's not. So this nail polish was in Last Chance, and so I went ahead and decided to pick it up, and it's the shade Lilatte. And it's a super light purple shade. I did do a tester on my nails and paint it on there, and it looks pretty pink. If you watched my last video, that's what was on my nails, was this. And the reason my nails were so messed up is I did not wait for that to dry before I started doing stuff around the house, and I tore my fingers up, or tore my nails up. Then they came out with a face wash. That's their Super Healthy Skin Gentle Foamy Face Wash. This is something that I think I'll probably just keep in my shower. It is slightly, I wouldn't say they tried to put fragrance in it. Let's read the instructions. Yeah, they did. They put fragrance in it, which is really unfortunate, but I'm not super sensitive to that unless it's like heavy fragrance, so I think this will be okay. But I'm excited to try this out and see how it does. Because it says it's got vitamin C, lactosaccharides, apple, raspberry, and fruit extracts in it. So then I did this order before I cut off all my hair. I was trying to decide whether or not I was gonna keep the hair or cut it all off. I went in, asked for a trim, and she made that decision for me, which I'm not mad about it, but she really went in. But anyway, I bought these for the gym, which I think I still might be able to use them, but they're silk hair scrunchies. And even for Beauty Pie being discounted, it was still kind of expensive for some hair scrunchies, but they're just black silk hair scrunchies. Let's give these a whirl. They're very similar to the silk hair scrunchies I already have. I forget the brand that I have them in, but here we go. I mean, they're nice. And then the last thing I picked up, this is my favorite candle from them, and then they came out with a diffuser. And I figured I would just put this in my bedroom. And I always say this wrong, BAHIA de MIEL. I say it wrong every time. I'll have to put a thing on the screen. But anyway, it's a reed diffuser, and it's the same scent as the candle. So here are the reeds. It's packaged beautifully. This would be a great gift for someone. And then here is the stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually just, yeah, it smells good. Now I'm gonna stick my reeds in it, and I'll probably put this in my bedroom on my dresser. Look how pretty. All right, so that's everything that I picked up this month from Beauty Pie. Probably later in the month, closer to Christmas, I'm sure that I will have another haul because they are planning on coming out with some Christmas or like holiday releases. So if you wanna see me do a full face of Beauty Pie, just keep watching. I'm gonna do like a sped up version to where it doesn't take up too much of your time, and I will review the products that I use on my face. I do also wanna say though, a lot of people have been talking about this, and I think I hauled it last month. And I noticed that all of those videos were sponsored. There's one in particular that I watch this YouTuber, and I generally like her, but she was just so over the top about these products. And when I see videos like that, like, well, yes, obviously I'm a subscriber to Beauty Pie. I really like a lot of their products, but I think, again, me being the average consumer, I don't want people to sugarcoat or to oversell things, because then that's my hard-earned money. So again, I'm gonna do a full face and I'm gonna tell you what I think after. But yeah, all right, let's get into it. So it's the next day. I told you earlier in the video that I would be back and I would do a full face of Beauty Pie makeup, but the day got away with me. I went to the gym, I got super sweaty, went grocery shopping, and I didn't feel like putting makeup on that late in the day. I don't know what I was thinking. So anywho, here we are. I took a shower right before bed last night, and then I slept on wet hair. So this is what we have, but at the end I'll show you the finished look with hair done. So not that you care. I did pull my Beauty Pie makeup and stick it in here, and some skincare items and things like that I use, and then I will also have visuals on screen so you know exactly what product I'm using. All right, so let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the products here. I want to start off by just letting you know that before I started putting all of these on, I did use the face wash that I hauled earlier in the video, and I did find it to be a little bit drying. Beauty Pie has tons of face wash, not tons, there's like, I don't know, 4 or 5. But they do have more moisturizing face washes, so if you do have dry skin, maybe avoid this one. So I first went in with the Uber Youth Super Elixir Microbiome Mist, and I went in with this again to sort of put some moisture back on my skin before I then went in with the Japanfusion Genius Lift Elixir, and I just kind of wanted to put like a serum or moisture back in. I then was like feeling around on my skin, and the elixir made my skin feel soft, but I wanted my makeup to glide a little bit better. So I actually also went in with the SuperActive capsules, and those kind of have like a silicone type slip, and then my skin felt pretty moisturized at that point. I then went in and I moisturized my eyes with the triple hyaluronic acid elastic lifting eye serum. And I find that I have to use some kind of eye cream or eye serum on my under eyes to kind of prevent them from looking dry when I apply my concealer. I probably didn't need this step, but I then added on a second sort of priming product, and that is the All-in-Wonder Illuminating Primer. I kind of just wanted to use it so that I could compare it to the one in the packaging before, and really I don't see much of a difference, and I don't know if this formula does seem slightly thinner than the previous formula, but that could be because I just put so many moisturizing agents on, or also because the bottle that I had before is a little bit older now and maybe it's getting thicker. So after I put on all those base products, I went in with the Everyday Great Skin Foundation. I've used this foundation multiple times, and what I can tell you is don't use a beauty blender or anything like that. So if you notice when I'm applying it, I'm actually applying it on my hands, like rubbing it into my hands and then applying it pretty evenly over the face, and then trying to spread it around with the warmth of my fingers on my skin. And then I go in with a buffing brush after, and I'm just doing that to maybe kind of pick up any extra product and to move everything around evenly, so my skin still looks like skin. I then went in with the Super Luminous Under Eye Genius Corrector in the shade Light Medium. I like using that, especially if I haven't had that much sleep. I find that this formula is pretty moisturizing, and even though it is a super light pink, it's sheer enough to where when you blend it out, it doesn't look too stark on your complexion, or at least my complexion. After that, I went in with their new concealer, which is their Everyday Great Skin Concealer, and I applied it on the under eyes and a few places on my face that I wanted to have a little extra coverage. I would say as far as concealers go, this one's probably a medium coverage, and it does dry down to sort of a satin effect on the skin. It's not too matte, and it also doesn't stay dewy. It does set down. So then I went in with their One Powder Wonder. This is a product that I have purchased multiple of, and this to me is a dupe for the NARS Translucent Crystal Setting Powder, the pressed version. But I do notice I also have the NARS, and I do notice that I can use the NARS under my eye without a problem, but if I apply it all over my face, for whatever reason, my face does tend to get a little bit itchy throughout the day. I don't have that problem with this one. And I also think that this is a great product if you are getting ready to use powder products and you have a problem with, say, bronzers or blushes being a little bit patchy on the skin. This is perfect, and it actually helps to prevent the patchiness, and everything just goes over the skin really smoothly. So after that, I went in with my powder products, which is their new Glow All Super Powder Face Palette. And I really like this palette. I would actually compare this palette to a couple of the NARS palettes that have come out over the last couple of years. And I'll go ahead and I'll show you the NARS palettes in case you're curious. So I find that this NARS palette, which was called their Exposed Cheek Palette, it has the same exact formula. That formula is also in the Orgasm on the Beach palette that they came out with this summer. What I will say is Beauty Pie does this thing where they don't really get like too creative with their colors. You've got a pink and you've got like a peach. And I wish that they would put a little bit more time into adding dimension, even if it's a matte shade, just adding a little bit more color interest, because when they go just like regular pink, regular peach, it just seems like a little bit generic to me. So I normally mix those together. Then after I put on the blush, I went in with the bronzer around my face just to add a little bit of dimension and color back into the skin. And then I did go over after that with the highlighter. The highlighter gives kind of like a natural skin effect. You can tell it's a little bit highlighted, but it's not super obvious. Which actually I like when my highlighter isn't super obvious. I don't want people to be like, whoa, she's wearing highlighter. I just want them to think that I have naturally pretty glowy skin. So after that, I went in and I did my eyebrows. The first product I use is the Super Brow Precision Pencil. I really like these pencils. I think they're great. I think they compare to Anastasia or anything on the market that's like a micro pencil. And so I just colored in kind of all the bald spots that I have in my brows. Then I went in with their Archology Eyebrow Sculpting Gel. I like the fact that the sculpting gel also has ingredients in it to help your brows grow, but I wish that this brow gel actually had a little bit more staying power when you put it in your brows. When I was getting ready, I did not have a bra on, so I decided that after I did my hair and all that good stuff, I should probably go put a bra on. I had to take off my shirt, obviously, to do that, and my shirt raked against my brows and moved them all over the place, so I have had to play a little bit more with my eyebrows just to kind of get them to go into place. So I think this is a great gel, like say if your eyebrows aren't unruly and you just need a little bit of gel. But as far as getting them to stay in place, this isn't the eyebrow gel for that. Hopefully they come out with one that is closer to the Anastasia, which really just keeps your brows in place. But if the Anastasia, you find that to be like too stiff and you don't like a stiff brow, this is a really good option for you. Then I went in with the eyeshadow sticks, and the first one is in the shade Taupe. This one I normally just wear all by itself. I think I wanted to use more products on my eyes just for the demonstration in the video. I really kind of like this super warm shade, and I actually don't consider it taupe. Taupe to me has a little bit more gray in it, but this to me is closer to like a camel kind of shade, and I think it's really flattering on my complexion. Then I went in to brighten up some of the areas of the eyes and to kind of sculpt out the bottom of the brow with a vanilla Whirl. I actually really like this one sometimes just all over for like a no makeup sort of look to kind of cancel out some veins. And I just popped it in the inner corners and up by the brow, and then tried to marry the two shades together where they meet around the crease. Then I wanted to define the outer portion of my eye and add a little bit of sparkle. Normally you don't use like a sparkly shade, but this one's a little bit deeper. I used Brazillianaire just on the outer V of my eye, and then I blended in with the rest. Since these are cream shadows and you go to blend them, it's really hard once the eyeshadow look is done to see where the last shade ended and the next one began, but I think overall I came up with a pretty decent look. After that, I went in with the eyeliner in the shade Copper Hazy. These eyeliners are super creamy and blendable, sometimes a little bit too blendable. It just kind of depends on what you want to do with them. So I applied it to the lash line and blended it out with an angled liner brush to kind of get a small wing. Then I applied some mascara. I used the Massive Fan 360 mascara. I'm just gonna go ahead and say this is not my favorite mascara. And the reason for that is I find that it is very volumizing, but it's not very lengthening, and I find that it doesn't really add much length to my lashes. And I have to keep raking the brush through because here, I'll show you here, the brush is a really odd shape and the bristles are pretty soft. And because of that, it ends up causing me to have to try to rake it through more and more, which applies more product, but it doesn't actually help define the lashes at all, and it gets kind of clumpy. My lashes are pretty clumpy. I think from a distance it looks okay on camera, but in person it doesn't look the best. Then for lipstick, I applied Really Good Raisin. This is the one that I hauled earlier in this video. Instead of wearing it full on like I did in my last video, if you want to check that out, I'll have it in the description box. I ended up just patting it out and wearing it more as a stain, and I find that to be a little bit more flattering. I finished everything off with the Fresh Glow Breathable Setting Spray. I actually really like this setting spray, and I also appreciate the fact that they changed out the sprayer. The sprayer before leaked a little bit, and also it was a little bit sputtery, and I would notice that I would have to go in with like a beauty blender or a brush to kind of pat out heavier drops that were all over my face. So anyway, this is the finished look. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I know I didn't use like all of the products that I had in the bin because obviously there were multiple different kinds of highlighters and multiple different kinds of blushes. But if you would like to see another one of these videos where I kind of review and talk about their beauty products, let me know and I'll be sure to make one next month when I do a haul. All right, I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.